Hi everybody, and welcome to the tutorial on adding speakers. So there will be numerous tutorials on how to do multiple things throughout um, going on to this website, but the thing that we're going to focus is on speakers. So this is what I'm going to start out with saying is that you will have already been given access to the Carib conference website, and you'll have admin access. And that means that you're going to see two sides of the website, the front side and the back side. So if we go over here, we just click this and it brings us to the back side. If we want to go back to the front side, we just click it again. And the front side of the website is what any attendee or anybody logging on to the website would see who doesn't have admin access. Now, this is already pre-made, so this is for the 2019 conference, as you can see. And there will be different tutorials on how to set all this up, but this one's going to focus on speakers. So as you can see, there's some tabs at the top: Home, Schedule, Speakers, Logistics, Explore, Winnipeg, and News. So these are what we would refer to as pages. So how did those pages get there? Well, we would have had to set them up. And we'll go over that as well. Now, when I set up the speakers, I had three things open, which to me seemed like it was a little bit easier to have all of this information at my fingertips. So I was always logged on to the Carib website. I had my SurveyMonkey open, and you're going to be given access to SurveyMonkey through Carib. This is what Carib uses for all their speakers. So they send their speakers a link to SurveyMonkey. Please fill this out. And the survey questions essentially are, what's your name? What's your position? What are you going to be talking about? What organization do you work with? And contact information and the such. And what's your bio? Right? So all of that information will be uploaded into SurveyMonkey, which is actually a really smart way of doing it because then all the information is just stored in one place. So like I said, I always have three things open: the Carib website, my SurveyMonkey, and the Carib conference agenda. So the conference agenda is done up in a PDF form or Word form. And this is what you're going to use to build essentially this entire website. So it's really important that you have the agenda prior to adding anything. Now, that would be in, the best case scenario that you have all that information ahead of time, but that's in reality, you might have bits and pieces. So that's something that you will have to work around. Because speakers, remember, when we're designing this website, we're doing it 5 months in advance of the conference actually starting. So, in 5 months, there's lots of things that actually could change. So, 3 documents open: Carib website, SurveyMonkey, and have your agenda. Okay, so we are going to just take a look at the front end, what the speakers actually look like. So this is already we've already obviously added all the speakers to this. So I'm just going to show you what it would look like. So the keynote speakers are our top 3, and then the remaining people who are speaking at the conference, as you can see them. And you're wondering, how did all that information get there? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. So let's get started. So we click on our Carib conference at the top, and this is what's bringing us to the back end. Now, like I said, all of those headings were made from pages. There'll be a separate tutorial on this as well, but this is essentially all the different pages that we see at the top of the main screen when we go back, if we visit the site. See? they correspond. So going to the speakers. So this pages is essentially whatever we want to call it, right? So whatever our title is. So speakers will refer to this as, and then this is how you can choose your content and how you want it to be displayed. You can see our keynote speakers have the header on the header on the top, and then or a picture on the top with some words on the bottom. You can choose different ways that you want it aligned, and there'll be another tutorial on this, but I just wanted to show you in reference. So let's go to a speaker. So I was going to add a new speaker. So let's say we want to add a new person. We would just go to add speaker and fill out their information. And I'm going to show you one that's already filled out so that you can see how it's all filled out correctly. So we'll go back to the speakers, and I'm going to look at my schedule, and I'm going to, see what's all on here, and I'm just going to pick a person here. Okay, so we see that Erica Kleiderman is our keynote, and she's at 9 o'clock. So I'm just going to type in Erica. So we'll have added a new speaker, and we will put in her name, Erica Kleiderman. And where are we getting this from? Because we want to know all of her information, right? So we'll go back to our SurveyMonkey. We'll type in her name, Erica. We see that she's already registered into SurveyMonkey. It's just loading. So we see her name, what her title is, and her organization that she works for. So this is where you just kind of go in between the both. She sent us her picture. We will update that and her bio. So we would just highlight this, copy it, go into this section here with the bio and paste it. One thing I always like to do is go through this and just make sure there wasn't any strange spacing or obvious grammar, spelling errors, that kind of thing. And one of the things that you'll need to find out is when it says for the description, position, or organization of the speaker. We were given direction at the time just to make sure that we don't put any doctor, PH of, or student or whatnot. So we just kind of kept all of our titles kind of similar, like what their actual role was, not their education level. And then, of course, where they worked and possibly what university or college organization they were associated with. You also have the ability, if they had a website, if this person had a website, you could put their website link there. But that would have to be provided to you by that person. You can see we've added the image, so we would have just gone here and we would have picked which image we would upload her picture, and then we would click on which one it was, like if it was this, and we would just hit set featured image, and then it would automatically show her picture. So her picture's in, and then we would just hit update. When you're adding a new speaker, this here won't say update, it will say publish. So you would actually be publishing that person so that they're now live on the website. You do have the ability to have somebody added, and I'll show you how that works. So if we were just going to put Jane Doe and whatever bio information, what they were, so they were the chair of, let's just say ABC University, and we'd make sure our spelling is all correct and that kind of thing. And then you could see here, I could just save it as a draft, right? And then that person wouldn't be published to the website. The other option that we have, and I'm just going to go back to see. So you can see this is in a draft form. So this person isn't actually published on the website. And that's what we would do in the beginning if we weren't sure, if that person was attending or not. So let's say we wanted to edit something in Jane. Well, we would just hit edit. Pretty basic stuff. We go back. If we wanted to trash, because we wanted to delete this because Jane Doe isn't actually speaking here, we would just hit trash. And that would go into, it doesn't actually disappear. So you can actually go into the trash here, and we could, if we're like, oh no, Jane Doe is coming back, we could just hit restore. If we wanted to delete permanently, we could also do that. So I was showing the example of Erica. Erica happens to be one of our keynote speakers. So we see that she's at 9 a.m., which doesn't apply in the speaker part right now, but it will apply when we go to sessions. And she's a keynote. So one thing that we didn't talk about was the category. So she's a plenary speaker, which means we have different categories, and you can add new categories as you see fit. But basically, how we've set them out is a plenary speaker is someone who's speaking to the whole audience. And a speaker would be, just someone who is speaking. So a plenary speaker, this tells me she's speaking to the whole group, which means she's a keynote. And if we look up Erica, if we go, so we would have published this, and then we would go back to our front side of the website. And let's just take a look at our speaker, Erica. There she is. Her information's been added. Erica Kleiderman, her association, and her bio. And then it will also link to her sessions, which is the next tutorial we'll get into. So it tells us which sessions is Erica doing. Oh, she's doing a keynote on such and such title at 9 a.m. on Thursday. Perfect. So that's it for the tutorial on speakers. And there will be the next tutorial available to go over at your leisure. And there'll be tutorials on all of these sections. Thanks.